Good evening, Bante and all Kalyana Mitra. Namo Buddhaya and Sukhi Hontu. I'm Aliana and welcome to Ti-Ratana Vihara Friday Sutta discussion by Bante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima. Please be informed that Ti-Ratana Vihara is going to conduct a one-day non-stay retreat by Bante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima with name Mudita Retreat on Saturday, 25th of April 2026 from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Kuala Lumpur time. For further information and registration regarding to the Mudita retreat, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Facebook account or WhatsApp groups. Everyone is welcome to join in and hope to see you all at the retreat. Today is the day 167 of this series of Sutta discussion, which is the third class of Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta. Tonight's topic is Vedanā, feelings. The penetrative analysis to number 2. The Sutta discussion series is sponsored by Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapadana, and Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta is the 16th sutta that have been chosen by Bante Chandima for this Sutta discussion series. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapadana YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous classes there. We are always welcoming newcomers. Therefore, please share around about this class to other friends and family members so that whoever that wish to join the class via Zoom, where we can engage directly with Bante, can contact the Vihara administrator, or you can join the class from Ti-Ratana Vihara Facebook channel, where we broadcast the Sutta class live on every Friday evening from 8:30 till 10 p.m. Kuala Lumpur time. Now let me introduce to you about our speaker, Bante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima, who was the professor of Buddhist philosophy in the Department of Philosophy at Ateneo de Manila University, Philippines. His recent peer-reviewed articles, Socrates and Early Buddhist Medical Ethics, Foundation of Moral Reasoning in the Care of Body and Mind, 2025, was published in Buddhi, a journal of ideas and culture of Ateneo de Manila University. Bante also presented his latest research at the annual meeting of American Academy of Religion, or AAR, in Boston, USA, in a paper titled Custodian Without Ordination, the Ganinase Tradition and Monastic Succession in 17th Century in Sri Lanka. Bante is also the senior advisor to Patisota, a virtual Dhamma organization that hosts a weekly online Pali reading class, Sutta discussion, Dhamma talks, and a variety of other Dhamma activities. His Dhamma works can be accessed at www.patisota.blogspot.com, and you can also follow Bante at Patisota Facebook account. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bante, and as always, thank you very much for the wonderful guidance and teaching. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana, for the introduction and all the information, especially our upcoming retreat in April, hosted by Ti-Ratana Vihara. Okay, let us start our sutta discussion by paying respect to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Good evening, Dhamma friends who have joined for TRV Friday Sutta discussion. And today is day 167 and the third class of the Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta. We have to be very thankful to Aliana and Aaron for uploading the videos, which we have done every Friday. Of course, we missed last Friday due to the New Year things. So Aaron has been very much inspired, self-inspired, motivated to do those things, and he's actually asking me how to do differently and all that. So all positive good signs, and we are very thankful to those silent work, because we only meet here hour and a half every Friday, but a lot of things are happening during the time. So as you know, with our new sutta, Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta, we have covered the first topic, right? Week before last week, right? And Nibbedhika means penetrative aspect of any Dhamma matter. What was the subject we covered Friday before last Friday? Kama, right? Kama, sensual pleasures. So sensual pleasures have to be penetrated through 6 aspects. So the same six aspects going to be relevant to today's topic. Today we are going to discuss about Vedana, feelings, a very important topic. I could say the most important topic with regard to, because karma also giving us feeling at the end, right? When you enjoy karma, finally you are coming up with a feeling. As a layperson, when you make money, when you have your family, when you look back your life, finally you end up with only happiness. And when you are not happy, sometimes you might complain, right? I'm not happy in my life, although I am doing a lot of things for other people. Maybe other people are taking me for granted. Even Nibbana is happiness, it's a feeling, right? But the problem is the feeling of Nibbana cannot be interpreted in words. And also the feeling of Nibbana cannot be felt as well. They call Avedaita Sukha. Now all these sukhas are, happinesses are, what you call, they can be felt. But Nibbana Sukha is, you can't, it is not a happiness of feeling. A lot of people are always saying that Nibbana is the highest happiness, isn't it? Right? Although Nibbana is called as the highest happiness, it is said that it is not something to be felt. Because if it is going to be felt, then what will happen to you? This will give us dukkha, anicca, dukkha, anatta. So it is called avedaita sukha. This is the Pali word for that. Now, other happinesses are vedaita sukha. That means happiness, I'm going to write for you, to be felt. It's called avedaita sukha. Right? Now, this creates a little bit of paradox to all of you, because you might think that Nibbana should be something higher than all these happiness types. It is because it is a happiness that where you are not going to feel it. It's called Avedaita Sukha. But today we are not going to cover this Nibbana part. We are going to look at the feeling. So we are going to look at the sutta now. Let's take a look. Feel fully going to nothing. I'm talking about layperson perspective of feeling. Basically, we understand that there are 3 types of feelings: sukha, dukkha, adukkha, sukha. Pleasant, painful, neutral. Right. So, okay, can we all read the text so we can save time, right? What is to be understood about feeling? Now, with regard to feeling, what are the things that we have to understand? Now, Next time, when you think about feeling, if you think that you have understood feeling, that means you must have understood the feeling, Vedana, from these 6 aspects. So if you haven't been able to understand Vedana, feeling, then that means through these 6 aspects, that means you haven't covered the whole Vedana. What are those 6 things? You can see here, or we read, Vedana bhikkave veditappa. This one, number 1. Vedanānaṁ nidāna sambhavo veditappa. 2. Vedanānaṁ vemattata veditappa. Number 3. Vedanānaṁ vipāko veditappa. Number 4. Vedanānaṁ nirodho veditappa. Number 5. Vedana nirodhagamini patipata veditappa. Number 6. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let us read the text. What is to be understood about feeling? Vedana bhikkave veditappa. Vedanānaṁ nidāna sambhavo veditappa. Vedanānaṁ vemattata veditappa. Vedanānaṁ vipāko veditappa. Veditappo. Vedana nirodho veditappo. Vedana nirodhagamini patipada veditappa. Ti itiko panetam bhuttam kinchetam paticca bhuttam. Okay. So the first aspect, so you need to know that all the matters that Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta is presenting us, matters are given within these 6 perspectives, right? So it is the same framework. First is feeling is to be understood. That means we need to understand what is feeling. Second, Vedanānaṁ nidāna sambhavo. Nidāna sambhavo, what is the origin of this feeling? How does Vedana arise? What is the cause of feeling? We have to know that one also. Then, Vedanānaṁ vemattata veditappa. Vemattata means we have to also know the diversity of feeling. What are the different types of feelings? That's number 3. Number 4, Vedanānaṁ vipāko veditappa. We also have to know what is the result of feeling. That means what will happen to me when I go through feeling. Then, Vedana nirodho veditappa. How to end the feeling is also to be understood. Cessation means how to end it. Now that is the reason, right? If you end the Vedana, then you are not going to have normal Vedana. That is why it is becoming avedaita sukha. Nibbana is avedaita. It is because you are ending Vedana. The Vedana that you are going to interpret in daily life. And then Vedana nirodhagamini patipada. Now, if there is an ending to Vedana, then that particular path that helps you to end that Vedana should be known. What is the path that is necessary to practice to end the Vedana? All right. So this is how the framework of Vedana should be understood. So first we are going to pick up what is Vedana. Okay, that's the first thing. This is something interesting. The Buddha introduces a 6-fold investigative framework, just like in other concept that the Buddha talks in this sutta. Feeling is not merely something to experience. It must be penetrated with wisdom to end dukkha. Now we have a question. Is feeling emotion? Is emotion feeling? Now emotion is a very useful word in psychology, especially when people discuss about today's mental states and how people react and respond. they are always using this English word called emotion. Normally, the English word feeling, nobody's saying my feelings are happy today, right? Nobody's saying like that. They might say even emotions, especially when it comes to psychological, psychiatric, or maybe some kind of interpretations about different people. They might use my emotions of anger, so-called things. Those. But according to the Buddha in this sutta and across the Pali canon, we can understand that Vedana, that means feeling, is different from emotion. Okay? We will be discussing that, but I just want to give you the heads up before. Okay, the three kinds of feeling. Let us read. Tisso ima bhikkhave vedana, sukha vedana, dukkha vedana, adukkama sukha vedana. So how many feelings are there? There are three feelings. Pleasant feeling, sukha vedana. Then painful feeling, dukkha vedana. Adukkama sukha vedana. A feeling that is neither painful nor pleasant. Every experience carries one of these three tones. This triad forms the basis of mindfulness of feeling in Vedana-Nupassana. So then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy our Vedana-Nupassana blog post. I'm going to send it here because it can help you later on. Okay. Now we discuss what is Vedana. Sorry. So Vedana is threefold, right? Sukha, dukkha, adukkha, asukha, right? Then origin of feeling, Vedana. What is the cause? Katamo cha bhikkhave vedanānaṁ nidāna sambhavam. Pasu. This is the origin. Passo bhikkhave vedanānaṁ nidāna sambhavam. Pasu means contact. And see, feeling Vedana arises depending on contact. Normally the process starts from sense base. Let's say eyes here. And then here we can say sight. Then eye consciousness. Then contact. Then feeling. Eyes, sight, eye consciousness. Then contact. Then that will create feeling. This is where we understand feeling is coming from this contact. Right? Not here, not here, not there. Right? So that means when it comes to being mindful about our feeling, where we should be very much mindful about in that experience. Should we only be mindful about the kind of the feelings we are going through, or should we also a little bit go back in that experience to passa? We had to be mindful about passa, contact, right? So then we can catch it a little earlier. But if you're going to catch it at the level of feeling, it's a bit difficult, right? Because you're already happy in a certain way. Right? Think about someone has been doing a wrong thing, an unethical thing for some time, right? And then that person is happy about it because now things are very easy for that person, right? But so it's difficult for that person to only understand the feeling and then to, cut down the clinging part or craving part of that feeling. But what if that person can go back to the contact? What contact made me to be as like this? Then I understand this is a wrong contact. Can be a eye contact, Chakku sampassa, maybe a sota sampassa, ear contact. So the person will go back and then see what contact dragged me into this particular feeling, right? So then it is easier and more practical to look at our own feelings. Not that when the feeling arose and you are trying to diminish it, it might be a challenging thing. Already you felt it for some time. You have memories about it. Now think about if you have a sugar craving, right? Now you know that it is not good for you, right? But you have had a lot of experiences about sugar cravings. That means you like it, but you want to do something for this. So your plan is every time when you go through the sugar craving, you are thinking, what can I do for this? But it might be a very difficult thing for you. Then you are going back a little bit backward and looking at what contact dragged me into this sugar craving. Because of course I cannot get rid of my eyes, my tongue. Of course I cannot get rid of certain food. Of course I cannot get rid of the automatic sensory consciousness. What do you call? Jivha vinyana, right? Tongue consciousness. It's difficult. But I can do something for the contact that is created by sense faculty, object, and particular sensory consciousness. That is contact. What is the contact that we can do something for that, for the sugar craving? Jivha sampassa. Tongue contact. If I can work a little bit about it, then I can diminish, I can manage, at least manage. Don't think about ending it. Some people want to end craving in 1 day, 2 day, right? They are trying so much hard, but then what will happen? They end up by eating a lot of sugar after that. Right? That is more dangerous actually. If we can end tanha in that easy way, then we would have done it earlier. That is not easier than how we think. That's why we have to take small steps here. When you take the small steps, it can work out in the long run. So we go back, we see what contact drags me into this Vedana, sugar craving feeling that I want to continue. So I can manage myself. That's why here it is said, we need to understand that the cause of all these feelings is contact, passa. So how many passas are there? It was not given here. It was given in other suttas, Vibhanga Sutta Samyutta Nikaya. How many passas are there?
6.
6 passas, right? Chakku sampassa, eye contact. Then, second,
Sota sampassa.
sota sampassa, mean
Ear.
Ear contact.
ear contact. Third, gana
Gana.
sampassa. That means
Nose, smell.
Smell.
gana
Odor.
sampassa means nose contact. Then, fourth,
Jiha.
jivha sampassa, tongue contact. Then fifth one,
Touch.
Kotaba.
Kotaba.
kaya
Kaya
sampassa,
sampas.
body contact.
Pagi.
And then the sixth one,
Dhamma.
Dhamma.
not
is the
dhamma,
top.
mano sampassa,
Mano.
mind contact. Now the thing here, what we need to understand is that we need to understand that no feeling arises without any of these contacts. Then we can nail down to our feeling issue towards these 6. So we have to go and look at each of the contacts and see how my Vedana is being processed as a result of these 6. So if I can observe these 6 contacts time to time, I can minimize the hassle that certain contacts can give me, depending on my lack of mindfulness, lack of wise attention and all that, right? Lack of wisdom, right? Because wisdom is not always with us, right? That means we can be unmindful anytime. Right? That is why it is very important to go back and check, observe, watch, contact. If you watch feelings, it's very difficult to do something because already you have felt it, enjoyed it. You can do something, but difficult. It's not practical. Right? That's why the Buddha says, when you want to know feeling, go back and see why feeling arises. What causes feeling to arise? That is none other than passa, 6 types of passa. Then we are going to the third one, right? What is Vedana? Okay, go back. What is Vedana? The second one is cause of Vedana, that means contact. Now, diversity. It's going to be here. Diversity, wordly and unwordly. Let's read. Khatamacha bhikkhave vedanānaṁ ve mattata atti bhikkhave samisa sukha vedana. First one, samisa sukha vedana. Atti niramisa sukha vedana. Second one. Atti samisa dukkha vedana. Third diversity. Atti niramisa dukkha vedana. Atti samisa adukka masukha vedana. Atti niramisa adukka masukha vedana. Ayang vucchati bhikkhave vedanānaṁ ve mattata. Ve mattata. Ve mattata means you can translate it in a very easy word. Varieties. You know, when you go eat, when you want to eat, you want to see a lot of varieties. And then if you see only 2, 3, 4 dishes, not many choices. Let's go to another restaurant. Now, Vedana is also like that. So many choices. But the problem is different Vedanas arise at different times because of different contacts. So we have to go check back the contacts. So here, variety-wise, there are 6 Vedanas. Actually, there are 9 Vedanas which the Buddha talks about. Where does the Buddha talk about 9 Vedanas? 9, I would say 9 varieties. Satipatthana Sutta. Satipatthana Sutta. But in the Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta, it simply takes the main 6. Actually, what is missing here is general sukha, dukkha, adukka, masukha. All the others are here. Right? So, can you remember how we explained examples to those 9 feelings? Sukha, dukkha, adukka, masukha. How did we translate them? Sukha means a basic happiness without a source. You are simply happy. No particular source. Second, dukkha vedana, you are simply unhappy, but you don't have a source for that unhappiness. Are there situations like that? You are simply unhappy, then you are very unhappy. Nobody to be blamed. Huh? A lot of people, they want to look for somebody to be blamed. You know, you are the cause of my suffering today. But that day you can't find someone. Simply unhappy. Maybe weather, maybe something came up in your mind, right? It's kind of basic dukkha feeling. Third one, adukka masukha. A basic feeling that has no particular happiness or unhappiness. It's a very basic one. No source. Now we are talking about samisa side. Samisa sukha, samisa dukkha, samisa adukka masukha. Samisa means it is a worldly happy feeling, but it has a source. It has a very clear source, right? For that worldly happiness. Let's say that something that you like happened today. Maybe it might be about somebody, it might be about money, it might be about anything, but you have a particular source about it. So that is called samisa sukha vedana. Samisa dukkha vedana means a worldly unhappy feeling arose within me. Definitely this is something happening to many. They are unhappy because there is a particular reason for that, source for that. Then samisa adukkama sukha vedana. Again, a worldly feeling, but the person does not feel either happy or unhappy thing. Just a what do you call a neutral feeling with a source, right? You can think about any example for this situation, right? Sometimes you are going through things that you can't change those things. Then you understand that this is a necessary evil in society and in the global politics, right? You can't avoid it. And you know that it has to exist and I have to exist. What to do? And I don't find out a particular happiness nor an unhappiness. So, but there's a particular source for that. So these are called worldly happy, unhappy, neutral feelings which have particular cause. Then the last set, Niramisa Sukha Vedana, Niramisa Dukkha Vedana, Niramisa Adukkama Sukha Vedana. This is very interesting. Huh? Because it is Niramisa. Niramisa means? Niramisa?
Unworthy.
Huh?
Unworthy.
What is that?
You say unworthy?
Unworldly. We can use a very simple one. We can say spiritual. Let's say spiritual. You can, because transcendental, it is a little bit deeper word, but for general use, we can say spiritual. So Niramisa Sukha Vedana. That means, how do we translate that?
Spiritual joy.
A spiritual happy feeling
Spiritual happiness.
with the source.
It is.
Normally, when you are into spiritual things, now we are talking about Buddhism, not about other religions. When you are into spiritual things, your raga, lust, your dosa, hatred, and moha, delusion, have to little bit go down, right? Because they are spiritual. So, Niramisa Sukha Vedana means you have a spiritual happy feeling which has a cause, right? And what is Niramisa Dukkha Vedana? A spiritual unhappy feeling. Who is unhappy when they are in spiritual activities? You are going to try out a new Dhamma practice. Maybe a meditation, maybe a little bit of moderation in eating and drinking, right? What else? Not gossiping. What do you call? Pleasant speech. That means you are talking very pleasantly. But sometimes, you know, your mouth can talk about not nice stuff, unpleasant stuff. Then you are mindful about what I'm going to talk to my family and other people. I have to watch what I talk. Pleasant speech. So say, for instance, that there is someone who is gossiping for the most part of the day. Now that person learns some Dhamma teachings from a Dhamma speaker, maybe from a Dhamma book. So the book or the Dhamma talk or something teaches that person that you better not talk a lot, because the urge of talking longer will help you create a lot of gossip. Will that situation make that person comfortable or uncomfortable in the first place? It might be a little bit inconvenient for that person, right? Because the person is used to gossiping all the time, right? That is not a worldly unhappy feeling. It's a spiritual unhappy feeling, right? Now think about meditation. If you are a newcomer to the meditation, right? I mean, I'm not talking about sitting. At least regardless of where you are seated, you have to just calm yourself and then contemplate on whatever the object that you are given. You have to calm down. You can't talk, right? That's going to be a little bit of difficult situation for a newcomer sometimes, huh? Not for a usual practitioner. What are the other examples? Eating in moderation. Let's say you are someone who is eating a lot. You want to eat like a king in the morning. I'm not talking about that example. How are you supposed to eat for the lunch? You eat your breakfast like a king and lunch like a
Queen.
Queen.
A queen.
Queen. Somebody said lunch like a queen. I don't know. Breakfast like a king. I know the last one. Dinner like a thief. Why? Thief eats very much careful. Somebody might see that I'm eating or not. Eating less. But lunch like there's somebody, I can't remember. It's a kind of a idiomatic thing. So that means, but people don't care about those things in today's world. When they want to eat, they go eat. Because there are lots of food. But there's someone who is learning the story of King Kosala from a Dhamma talk. Donapaka Sutta. I think we discussed that long time ago.
Yes.
Very long time ago. So the person understands that King Kosala got a problem. Actually, it's a real story, right? When King Kosala went to see the Buddha asked him, I think you are a little bit uncomfortable today. What's wrong with you? Because he can't sit down properly, and then he's like wriggling here and there. And then he said, I have overeaten today. Okay. Then, dear king, I'm going to teach you something today. And the Buddha said, you have to practice bojane mattanyuta, moderation in eating. So the king told the Buddha, Bhante, I still forget about this thing. So then I will write this down, ask my assistant to read while I'm in it. Think about how much food he's eating. It is said he is eating a lot, few bowls, right? So for the King Kosala, or even anybody here, if you think you have a bad habit of eating too much, which is not only a Dhamma reason, which is also a medical problem, right? Health problem, one day, then you are learning this beautiful teaching from Buddhism. Buddhism is not only talking about enlightenment or meditation. Some people think so. Some people think Buddhism is only talking about chanting, or maybe dana offering, or maybe meditating and attaining Nibbana or cultivation. No. Buddhism also teaching us how to take care of our well-being. Because if you are unhealthy, you can't do any of these kusala practices. Buddha told. Let's say someone is learning this today or someday, and the person is thinking, okay, from tonight, maybe from tomorrow morning, I'm going to think about, should I eat my breakfast like a king or not? The person is going to think about, what am I going to eat for my breakfast? How is my lunch going to be? What kind of dinner I'm going to have? What time I'm going to have my dinner? Should I eat a little bit earlier? Or what are the food I'm going to consume? So when the Buddha says samisa dukkha vedana, that means a spiritual unhappy feeling. That means when someone is into spiritual things, maybe the practice, but the person finds a bit difficult to stick to the practice in the first place. Sometimes, even when you are in the middle of the practice, you still have a certain discomfort, right? I think I shared some of the stories. Remember that story, the businessman who became a monk, right? That's a very beautiful story. I think I shared with you a lot of time, but I share again. There was a businessman who met a Buddhist monk during the Buddha's time. And then he learned about dana. So the monk asked him, you can do dana. So he started giving dana once a month, maybe. And after some time, he approached him again and asked him, how to deepen my practice? Then he said, you can increase the frequency of giving your dana. So you are giving once a month, you can give maybe twice a month. So he again approached him. Then this way, the monk advised him, you can give every week. You can give dana every week. And finally, the monk advised him, you can give dana every day. So then he's giving dana now. At a certain point of his dana practice, he was a little bit bored about the practice. It can happen to anybody. He asked from the monk, is there anything else other than dana I can do? Then he said, okay, if you are more interested about the next step of the dana, that's sila. You can practice sila. Then he asked, what is sila? Sila means precepts, not killing, not stealing, not sexually misbehaving, not lying, not taking intoxicants. He said, okay, I will try my level best. So he started practicing sila for some time. And then at a certain point of his sila practice, sila dana, both practices, he approached the monk. He asked, what else can I practice? Then the monk said, I don't know a lot of Dhamma. What I can suggest you is that if you are more interested, you go and become a monk. Right? So when the monk doesn't know how to advise, the monk will tell you, go and become a monk. Be careful, because then you might think that this is the only alternative that I should do now. If the monk can advise a bit more as a layperson, no, there are a lot of things you can do as a layperson. Don't have to become a monk. That's a good choice. Anyway, the businessman believed, of course, the Sangha member who he knew for some time, he became a monk. But what happened after he became a monk was something very interesting. Every Sangha member is having two kinds of teachers. One is Upajjhaya, the other one being Acharya. Upajjhaya is the kind of the teacher who the novice is going to consult periodically, not every day. Upajjhaya. You can say that person can be a mentor. And the second one is Acharya, teacher, the one who that you are consulting on a regular basis. But the Upajjhaya, mentor, and then the teacher that he got are quite serious people. The Upajjhaya was a Abhidhamma teacher. That means he knows a lot of higher Dhamma teachings. And every time he goes and asks something, he is always teaching from Abhidhamma. And then when he comes back to the teacher is more focusing on Vinaya, discipline. So at a certain point, he got not very convenient about these teachers. So he thought about himself. Before I became a Sangha member, I was so free. Whenever I wanted to give a dana, I went and gave a dana. When I wanted to practice sila, I practiced sila. But now, this teacher says, don't do this. The other teacher said, don't do this. Now I can't even move my hand. I'm like in a prison. So better I want to become a layperson. Right? So see, this is kind of a spiritual, painful feeling. Niramisa, dukkha vedana. But luckily, the Buddha was watching this thing. Then the teacher appears at the right time. The good teacher appears in that right condition. Then other monks inform about him. And then he asks this particular monk to come. And then he's told the story. Then the Buddha said, you forget about Abhidhamma, Vinaya. Can you do one thing for me? Oh, one thing. Tell me, what is that one thing? Can you take care of your thoughts? Yes. And he attained Nibbana. Sometimes knowledge is too much for some people. So they need a very practical, small activity only. They don't need to read a lot, just a small practice. But the problem is, who is going to give that practice? The right teacher. That's why it's very important to understand this context. I was trying to say how to understand spiritual unhappy feeling. Niramisa, dukkha, vedana. So what is now left? Niramisa, adukka, masukha, vedana. That means spiritual neutral feeling. So there are a lot of moments in our life where we are in between happiness and unhappiness in our Dhamma practice. Can you think about one example for that? One example could be, there are some devotees who are asking, is this the proper way to practice meditation? They are not sure about it. They are happy to do it, but they are not sure about it. So they are kind of neutral in that perspective. I am chanting, is this the proper way to chant? Suttas and all. I am giving dana, but is this the proper way to give the dana? Is there a proper way to give dana? Or is there a better way to give dana? There's a better way to give dana. There's a better way to practice meditation. There's a better way to do the chanting. Not a proper way, because everybody is different. Right? Think about someone is approaching a Sangha member telling, Bhante, I am only chanting Amitofo, Amitofo, Amitofo. Should I change Amitofo to Itipiso Bhagavad? No need. Why to change to Itipiso? Because you are very comfortable with that chanting, you do it. But in addition to that, if you like, you can say Itipiso, Swakato Supari. What if we are going to say, no, Amitofo is not the good way to do it? You do the Pali chanting only. That's a nice thing to do. Right? That's why we have to carefully address, but I'm trying to say there are people who are asking, what should I do? So they are kind of in a dilemma about the practice and also some kind of worry about whether I do the practice in the proper way, right? It's kind of a neutral feeling. So in this way, feelings are very diverse, right? They are not in one way, they are very diverse. So according to Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta, Buddha teaches us that there are 6 kind of feelings that we have to particularly understand. Do you understand your feelings this way in your daily life? Or do you only take everything in one particular way? This is a feeling. Do you try to check different feelings when you go through the feeling? No, a lot of people are taken over by the feeling. How to check which feeling is this? Now, when people are sharing their whatever the mood, what they are saying, today I'm not happy. So they are not looking at the condition of the happy feeling. They are looking at today I'm not happy. And today I'm happy. But what if the person cannot look at the condition that caused the person to be happy? Then next day the person might be unhappy because happiness that I had yesterday is not anymore existing today. That's why the Buddha said every time try to look at the particular feeling with regard to its contents and don't try to be taken over by the particular XYZ, happiness, unhappiness, or neutral feeling. So it's very important to check our feelings with regard to these 6 or 9 or Satipatthana. So next is going to be the result, vipaka. Katamocha bhikkhave vedanānaṁ vipāko yang bhikkhave vediyamāno tajjang atta bhāvaṁ abhinibbatteti punya bhagyang va apunya bhagyang va ayang uchchati bhikkhave vedanānaṁ vipāko. What is the result? Now, when I go through different feelings, the so-called 6 feelings or 9 feelings, according to Satipatthana Sutta, what will happen to me? Or what is happening to my sensory experience? This is what the Buddha says. While experiencing the feeling, Vedanānaṁ vipāko, Yam bhikkhave vediyamano tajjang tajjang attabhavang abhinibbante. One generates or creates corresponding forms of existence. Punya, kusala, akusala. That means for each feeling, we are creating our next life. Is the problem, right? For each feeling, be very careful. Every time you go through a happy, unhappy, neutral feeling, be that worldly or spiritual or basic, we can say basic, worldly and spiritual, you are creating your next life.
Karma.
So, that is something we have to always keep in mind. So that is why we have to check our contacts, because contacts create different types of feelings. Okay. And then now what are we supposed to do? As a practitioner, according to Buddha, we are supposed to do something that is passa nirodha. Hatamocha bhikkhave vedana nirodho. Passa nirodho bhikkhave vedana. The only thing we can do to end this problem is to end or cease passa. What passa is this? This one, this passa. Chakku sampassa, sota, gana, jivha, kaya, mana. Right? 6 types of courses. Is it very easy to stop the passa? It has to be, right? It has to be ended. But how to end it? It is only by practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. Ariyo attangiko maggo. The next one says, Ayameva ariyo attangiko maggo vedana nirodha mini patipada sayyatidang. So and so. Samma ditti, samma sankappo, samma vacha, samma kammanto, samma ajivo, samma vayamo, samma asti, samma sama. Now, what is this telling us? When you practice Noble Eightfold Path, karma can be ended. Vedana can be ended. Perception can be ended. Asava can be. What is the only path to end all this? Noble Eightfold Path. There's no other path. It's the only Noble Eightfold Path. When we practice it gradually, simultaneously, Vedana will be ended, cease. So, finally, Yato chako bhikkhave arya savako evam vedanam ajanati. If you are a noble disciple, then you must understand Vedana in that way. That means you need to know what is Vedana. That's number 1. You need to know the origin of your Vedana. Number 2, you need to know the varieties of Vedana. Number 3, you need to know the result of Vedana. Number 4, you need to know how to end it. You need to know what is the way to end it. These 6 aspects must be known by you if you are a Arya Savaka. I think we have a question here. Who is Arya Savaka? Now, Buddha understands what do you call Putujjana. Putujjana versus Arya Savaka. Right? There are 2 types of Putujjana. Andha Putujjana, Kalyana Putujjana. Right? Who are they? Andha Putujjana, the worldling who has no understanding about the path. At least there is no basic understanding about the path. And Kalyana Putujjana means someone who has a basic understanding about the path. Whether the person practices or not, but the person knows that I have to, that I know that there's a way to do something. And then going above, Arya Savaka. Arya Savaka is someone who is following the Noble Eightfold Path. You can't become an Arya without practicing Noble Eightfold Path, because Noble Eightfold Path is Arya. Only when you practice it, you become Arya. Otherwise, you can't become Arya. You become Anariya, ignoble, IG noble, ignoble. You can't become Arya Savaka without practicing the noble path, because only when you practice the noble path, you become noble. If you don't practice it, you are ignoble. Maybe you are a Andha Putujjana or Kalyana Putujjana. Right? So, now you know Arya Savaka is someone who has a steady practice with Noble Eightfold Path. Now, if you are the noble disciple of the Buddha, then you know Vedana in 6 ways. May I know the 6 ways? Number 1, what is Vedana? Number 2, number 2, cause of Vedana.
Origin of it.
Origin.
Cause of origin of Vedana. Number 3, varieties of Vedana.
Varieties.
Number 4, results of Vedana. Number 5, cessation or ending of Vedana. Number 6, how to end it. How to cease that Vedana. There are 6. Right? Then only you are a noble disciple. Otherwise, take the ownership of ignoble person. Anariya Savaka. Right? Anariya, ignoble. The Pali word Arya is a very beautiful term, but you can't be eligible for that if you don't have a practice of Noble Eightfold. Because only when you practice Noble Eightfold Path, you become Arya. Something to think of. Okay, now we are going to look at very interesting aspects of okay, this part we have to read. Yeah. So, imang nibbedikang brahmacharyam pajanati vedana nirodha. This is how you are going to end Vedana. Vedana bhikkave veditabba, Vedana nirodha gamini patipada. Same phrase recurring. Yantang muttang idametam paticca. That is why it was said. Okay, further notes. This is very interesting. Feeling is a process. Okay. Is it a process? It's a process. Whether you like it or not, it's a process. It's happening. But you don't try to become the possessor of the feeling. It's a process. Don't become the possessor of that process. But we are always trying to own the process, isn't it? Aren't we? When the automatic Vedana process is happening, while not letting that happen automatically, we are trying to own it. We are trying to own it the way that this is my feeling, or maybe you hurt my feelings, you have to apologize to me, right? People are very much hurt. And there are some people who are saying, I can forgive you, but I cannot forget the damage you did for my feelings. It's been 10 years now. People are very much holding on to these feelings for whatever the reasons, because they have become the possessor, owners of their feeling. The Buddha said, don't become the owners of your feeling, because it's a process. Let the process happen. Don't try to own it. So with that, we are going to look at teachings of the Buddha about Vedana from many other suttas. I think that will be very interesting too, because we already studied about Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta's Vedana. Let us see what are other very important suttas are talking about with regard to feelings. Here, this is the difference between feeling and emotion. Vedana does not mean emotion in Buddhism. It refers to the hedonic tone of experience, the affective quality. Sukha, dukkha, adukkha, sukha. Neutral feeling, adukkha, sukha, refers to the middle spectrum of experience, bland, not distinctly present, or pain. So we need to know this hedonic tone. Right? Remember that during the Buddha's time, there was a group of people called Charvaka. Have you heard that group? Charvakas, Sramana group, like Jains, but they had a different feeling. They said, don't believe the next life, just do it. They might be the earliest group of YOLO, you live only once. YOLO group. Exactly a pure materialism is what they promoted. And they said all the time, whatever makes you happy is what you should stick to. You do any unnecessary, unethical thing, you become happy, so okay. So this hedonic perspective is very important. That's why the Buddha says, when it comes to feeling, it is nothing but the affective quality. If you cannot feel anything, then you can't take it as Vedana. Vedana must be felt in that experience. Now we are moving on to a very interesting sutta, Bahuvedaniya Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 59. Later you can click on this. When you click on this, it will take you to the sutta. I have hyperlink. You can see here. The many kinds of feelings directly related to the feeling. This is Majjhima Nikaya 59. Now, going back. In this sutta, there is something interesting happening. Udai, Venerable Udai, and Panchakanga. Panchakanga is a layman. Udai is a monk. Venerable Udai teaches Panchakanga that there are few feelings. I think we have to go and check it out. Oh, here, let's see. See here. At one time, the Buddha was staying near Savatthi. Then the Chamberlain Panchakanga went up to Venerable Udai, bowed, sat down to one side, said to him, Venerable Sir, how many feelings has the Buddha spoken? Then what happened? Venerable Udai told him the Buddha spoken of 3 feelings. Of course, Sukha, Dukkha, Dukkha, right? Pleasant, painful, or neutral. When he said this, Panchakanga said to Venerable Udai, Buddha has not spoken of 3 feelings. He has spoken only 2 feelings, only pleasant and painful. Okay? It's a very interesting conversation. Now, Panchakanga says Buddha only spoke about 2 feelings. Venerable Udai talks about the 3 feelings, the basic one. For a second time, Venerable Udai said to Panchakanga. And then, for the 3rd time, Venerable Udai told Panchakanga. And then what happened? But neither was able to persuade the other. Venerable Ananda heard this discussion between Venerable Udai and Panchakanga. Then he went up to the Buddha and bowed and sat down to one side and informed the Buddha of all they had discussed. When he had spoken, the Buddha said to him, Ananda, the explanation by Venerable Udai, which Panchakanga did not agree with, was quite correct. But the explanation by Panchakanga, which Udai did not agree with, was also quite correct. In one explanation, I have spoken only 2 feelings. In another explanation, I have spoken of 3 feelings. Sometimes 5, sometimes 6, sometimes 18, sometimes 36, sometimes 108. I have explained the teaching in all these different ways. This being so, you can expect that those who don't concede, approve, or agree with what has been well spoken will fight, quarrel, and dispute continually, wounding each other with barbed words. I have explained the teaching in all these different ways. This being so, you can expect that those who do concede, approve, agree with what has been well spoken with will live in harmony, appreciating each other without quarreling, blending like milk and water, and regarding each other with kindly eyes. All right, going back here. Now, here I have given one disciple says there are 2 feelings. That means Panchakanga, layperson. Venerable Udai says, then Venerable Udai's explanation is correct in one way, Pariyāyena. Panchakanga's explanation is also correct in another way, Pariyāyena. But what is the core principle here? Dhamma can be explained through multiple valid frameworks, and arguing only my framework is right leads to conflict. That's a very interesting thing. Then when you talk about Vedana with someone, don't try to get into an argument, Dhamma argument, thinking that only 3, 2, 6, because Buddha taught all these analyses, because according to the different people, he had to divide Vedana into different contexts, right? So, okay. Therefore, text does not deny neutral feeling as a distinct category. And Buddha, in this particular sutta, especially in this sutta, Attasata Sutta 36.22, Samyutta Nikaya says, happiness as a feeling can be graded in this way. Kama Sukha, that means your layperson happiness, and first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, then four jhanas with regard to the immaterial world, as you can see. And finally, this is the highest happiness that we know in Buddhism, cessation of perception and feeling, right? Cessation of perception and feeling. Is it possible to cease our feeling and perception? Without dying, huh? Without dying, is it possible for us to end, at least on a temporary basis, feeling and perception? The Buddha says that is the highest happiness. Then we must know, because we cannot be happy because our perceptions and feelings are giving us different grading towards us. So we are always trying to monitor and interpret about it. I am happy, I am unhappy. And there is a moment that we don't have feelings and perception, then we are at the highest level of that happiness. It is possible. I think I shared with you recently that even there is a Brahma world called Asanya Satta. This is a Brahma world, one of the 16 Brahma worlds. Those Brahmas in that Brahma world don't have tangible perceptions, feelings actually. They don't have feelings. And thereby they don't have perceptions, because we know perceptions come from feelings. So they are very happy, right? But you know what will happen to them at the end? Somewhere in that life, they are trying to think about what has happened to us. The moment that they are thinking about what has happened to them, they again start feeling about it and having perceptions, and they are going to die from that Brahma. So be careful, don't overthink. Huh? When you start overthinking, even whatever the happiness you are having, going to go away from, right? And nowadays it's a problem. People start overthinking. You can't overthink, you can't underthink, right? Because thinking has to be done in a proper way. So in this human life, there are the Buddhas and Arahants. Sometimes they are trying to stop their feelings and perceptions. We call it Nirodha Samapatti, right? The Sanya, what you call this particular highest happiness in Buddhism is also called Nirodha Samapatti. Nirodha Samapatti means the Buddha and some Arahants can stop their feelings and perceptions for 7 days. So they are not going through any feelings and tangible feelings. That is the highest happiness. So you can't get to that level. We can't get to that level unless we become enlightened, right? So it is something that we can learn from the second sutta here. And then something also very important is ethical aspect of feeling. I'm quoting Kita-Giri Sutta, MN 70. If you can click on this, it will take you to Kita-Giri Sutta, but we are not going there. I just want to explain what is given there. What matters is not whether a feeling is pleasant, painful, or neutral. What matters is its ethical consequence. According to this Kita-Giri Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 70, some neutral feelings increase unwholesome states. Some neutral feelings increase wholesome states. Any example? Now, some people might think that when I have adukka masukha, neutral feeling, I don't think I have akusala ukusala. Can you think about an akusala that you may create through a neutral feeling? You are not happy, unhappy. Can you still create an akusala? Any example? Are there moments in your life that you are very undecided about things? Huh? You have no pleasant feeling, no unpleasant feeling. Have you seen that when you become undecided, you get to more akusala sometimes? Let's say you want to eat some food, but you don't know what you want to eat. So you eat everything, right? Huh? Is that a good example? You don't know what to eat. So you want to try out all these food. Right? It might be a dessert, it might be something else. So that means we think that only when we are happy, unhappy, we create akusala. It's not true. Also, when we are neutral, that means when we are undecided sometimes, when we are not aware about what should I do, that also leads us to do akusala. And think about the opposite. Are there room for kusala when we are into neutral feelings? Any example? You don't have a particular like or dislike. As a result of that, you are going to choose a better practice, right? You are going to do a certain Dhamma activity. You are going to, let's say you have no likes or dislike about anybody, so you simply want to help other people. So whoever you find in your way, you want to help them, right? Sometimes neutral feelings also give us kusala things. So that means Kita-Agini Sutta teaches us never underestimate neutral feeling also. Normally we know sukha, dukkha, but adukha, masukha should not also be underestimated. It's something to learn too. And then, okay, I think there are a lot of things, but we will discuss how the Prince Siddhartha went through. He indulged in pleasure as a prince, and he pursued pain, asceticism. And then he understood that neither indulgence nor self-mortification is liberating. The key is understanding the underlying tendencies activated by feelings. Anusaya. Right? What is anusaya? Underlying tendencies. Feeling itself is not the problem. The mental reaction to it is. What is an underlying tendency? We have anusayas, right?
Yes.
Anusaya means they are dormant.
Dormant.
Now, where is your anger?
Still inside.
Did you sell it to somebody? Did you sell your anger to somebody? Where is your anger now? Because it is a latent disposition, anusaya. Now your anger is sleeping. Why? There are no conditions for your anger at this point to wake up. But when the condition comes to anger, it wants to wake up and get up. Then you have a very hard time to put back it into the sleep, That's even more struggling. Now, where is your lust, L-U-S-T? Sleeping now. When the condition arises, it wants to wake up. So, the Buddha says that the problem with regard to feeling is not feeling itself. The problem is, what does feeling nurture in the experience? So what feeling does is that it nurtures the underlying tendencies, anusayas. So we need to know that anusayas are natural, but we don't have to let them wake up, get up, right? So we have a thing to learn about with regard to the feeling, because feelings, when feelings are not properly monitored with regard to contact, what will happen is that they are waking the underlying tendencies. And Chula Vedala Sutta, in this Sutta, Buddha talks about neutral, Dhammadina talks about neutral feeling. And this one we have to discuss, Bodhiraja Kumara Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 85. In this sutta, Buddha reports a mistaken view. Happiness is gained through pain. Then, non-sensual, wholesome happiness. What is this? Niramisa Sukha Vedana, right? It's not an obstacle. It can be part of the path, right? Well, how to differentiate these two? Sensual, pleasure-based happiness, often tied to craving defilement. Non-sensual pleasure, happiness, jhana-based joy, blameless inner happiness, kusala. Happiness is gained through pain. Is it true? Is it true that we can attain Nibbana by giving pain to the body? By having a very hardcore practice? No. The Buddha said, I tried different difficult practices to give pain to the body. What kind of things he did? He did not eat. He did not take showers, right? And what else? He went to he wanted to expose to sunlight, especially for the scorching sun, and he was naked. He practiced all these Jain practices. We learn all that from Arya Pariyāya Sutta. And then he understood by giving the pain, it will never give me enlightenment. Earlier he understood as a prince, he experienced lots of happiness. He had 3 palaces, he had everything, but it also did not give me the answer to this unhappiness, dukkha. And now giving pain to the body, it also doesn't give me the answer to the dukkha. Then he understood it is neither giving a lot of happiness to the body, nor giving a lot of pain to the body, I can find enlightenment. It is by following a path that is in between will help me to go to that level. So what we need to understand is that don't think that when you practice Dhamma, a dukkha feeling will help you to attain Nibbana. But you can see stories where people had problems in their life, but their enlightenment came true from different aspects. I mean, especially when they look at the life more positively. Right. Finally, the real criterion here with regard to feelings overall is ethical and liberative direction. We have to ask 2 questions from us. Does this pleasure feeling lead to dispassion or freedom? We can ask that question from us when we go through those 6 or 9 feelings. Or does it lead to bondage or dukkha? Right? These are the 2 questions we have to ask with regard to our own feelings. So going back to the Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta, we are not going to deprive from feelings. You have to go through the feeling fully. Is it very important to go through the feeling fully? Because some people, when they go through a feeling without understanding the particular feeling, they are trying to name it, isn't it? They are trying to, sometimes it's a good feeling, but the person takes it in a wrong way. It's like that you start judging someone without studying a bit more. Why? Your perceptions are too much so that you cannot go through the perception. In the same way, there are people, when they go through a feeling, they don't want to go through the whole experience. They want to name it right away. So that's why it's very important to go through the feeling and then to understand the varieties of feeling and know the cause of that feeling and know how to end it. Right? That is what Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta teaches us. All right, now we can have a Q&A at this point. If you have any questions, please raise your virtual hand. We will discuss from that point on. Any questions?
Bante,
Yes, please.
yeah. I have a question. Like, just now you mentioned about pasa or contact and Vedana. So how do we apply Yoniso Manisakara to the contact, to the pasa, to make sure that it's wholesome? Or I don't know how do we apply that in our normal life?
Very interesting. Now, Yoniso Manasikara is what we need to do anything. You know, this mindfulness, Satipatthana, and all these meditation practices are not going to be okay because and they are also supporting Yoniso Manasikara to kick in. Now, when you practice Anapanasati, breath meditation, or maybe posture meditation, Sampajana, or anything, what they are doing is, if you are doing it in a proper way, as given by the Buddha, then they are all supportive of wise attention to kick in. What is wise attention? Being able to see any experience at its root. Because normally we don't look at the experience at its root. So now, in this case, as you are asking now contact. I said it's better, it is wise to look at this feeling problem, not from the feeling itself, but from the contact. So what to do? Every time I go through an experience, let's say I'm going through a happy experience, then I always have to think about what kind of contact led this happiness. So in order for me to go to that, I need wise attention. I need an attention, right? Because I am always driven by unwise attention. We call it ayoniso manasikara. If I don't have wise attention, then I cannot see. So the tool that you have to do all this process is wise attention. That's the only tool. So wise attention means being able to see it, that attention. So you need to take it as a tool and then to go back to the contact and see it. Mindfulness supports wise attention to start. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's more about bringing meditation practice to the daily life in terms of mindfulness, right? Like
Not
our
medit.
mindfulness
I don't call it meditation. I call it cultivation practice.
cultivation.
Because meditation, when you say meditation, you will take the normal Western understanding of sitting down. When you cultivate, you will meditate. But cultivation is a mental cultivation that has meditation, that has thinking, that has awareness, that has looking at my own posture, that has looking at what I talk, how I talk. Cultivation. Because Buddha says, Sabba Papassa Karana, Kusalasa Upasampada, then Sachitta Pariyodapana, the process of purification of our thoughts. Right? So that is cultivation. So that means it's a cultivation practice. It is going to be a regular practice. So for that, you will meditate, you will do other activities. When you are doing that, all those activities are leading you to have wise attention so that you can go back and see your own content. So Satipatthana practices are supportive of creating wise attention. That wise attention helps you to do all these things. We get a question here. Is adukka masuka same as upekka? Very good question. Who said that this is upekka? Where do we find this upekka to replace adukka masuka? It is found in the Abhidhamma. In the Abhidhamma, they say upekka sahagata chitta. So people are becoming very much confused. Is this the upekka Buddha teaches in the Brahma Vihara? No. Upekka has many meanings. They call it Brahma Vihara upekka is the main one. The equanimity. Right? And The upekka that is coming in the Abhidhamma context is what you call a neutral feeling. But Buddha picked up adukkama sukha to talk about this thing. So that's why he always uses adukkama sukha. Adukkama sukha means it's a bit what you call a bit simplified way of saying that there's no particular dukkha, no sukha. So overall, yes, they are same, but better to use adukkama sukha, otherwise you will misunderstand this with upekka, the lofty upekka, the upekka that we know in the Brahma Viharas. So it might be better to use adukkama sukha. So no sukha, no dukkha, right? That is better. Any other questions? So what is the feeling that you are having now? Are you having a sukha vedana, happy feeling, one happy feeling, or adukkama sukha? No. You have a niramisa dukkha vedana. Right? Spiritual, is it? Or niramisa sukha vedana, or niramisa adukkama sukha vedana. What feeling you have now? How do I know? We have to go back and check. Go check your own feeling.
Bhante, I have another question.
Yes,
Like
please.
feeling changes very fast. So compared to other, so it's actually very difficult to to look it at the roots, to look at it at the roots. So it really requires
Wise
practice.
attention. That's why you
Yeah,
need wise
which
attention. Yeah.
is
Actually,
very easy if we were to go in a retreat environment. But I'm not saying that I must go for retreat all the time. But in a retreat environment, it's very easy to control. But in the workplace, or at home, the feeling is like, up, down, so tough. Yeah.
okay. So, okay, let me tell you the context for this. Now you will feel that it might be challenging for you to look at feeling from feeling. Did I mention that in the talk today? I did. Then what did I suggest? It is better to go and check not the feeling itself, go check the contact. What are the different contacts that are creating different Vedana? Buddha used Chakku Sampassaja Vedana. The particular feeling that is based on Chakku Sampassa. So it is when you look at Vedana from its root, the root here is Sampassa, particular sense contact, then you can monitor it. But if you want to look at Vedana, Vedanas are many. Sometimes for one particular contact, there are many Vedanas. Right? Now think about someone talked to you nicely today. So then there is a happy feeling coming up, unhappy feeling coming up, a dukkha masuk also coming up. Right? So you are very in a kind of a struggle to understand why is this. But if you go back, what kind of contact that led me to the feeling? It's one for the most part. So I think it's better to monitor contact with regard to the particular feeling. Then you will find this practice even at home. You don't have to go to a retreat necessarily. If you can go, but you don't have to necessarily go to a retreat, right? So that's why it's better to look at it from passa, chakku sampassa, or sota sampassa, gana sampassa, jivha sampassa, kaya sampassa, or mano sampassa context. Then you will find out more leeway, more space, a buffer for this practice. If you try to look at it from Vedana itself, it is challenging. I told you earlier, right?
Good evening, Bhante. I got one question. Regarding the Upeka, just now you said, the Bojjhanga Upeka and the 10 Paramita Buddha's 10 perfection also got one Upeka. both this one, is it the feelings, is it?
No,
These two,
Upekka as a paramita is a prerequisite for a bodhisattva to practice. So that Upekka has not been materialized. That Upekka is a prerequisite. Let's say you are a bodhisattva, so you have to practice Upekka to become the Buddha one. Okay?
Mhm.
Now, when you become the Buddha or Arahant, your Upekka quality is called as a Bojjhanga.
I see.
Then you have Upekka as a Bojjhanga because you are enlightened already. But until you get to the enlightenment, Upekka is a prerequisite to enlightenment. You have to practice it.
Got it. Thank you very much. Bhante.
Okay, so let's see one more question here and then we will wrap this up. What is the contact of grudges? I think grudges come from all the contexts. Eye contact, sometimes grudge come from the eye contact, something you see, maybe someone that you don't like, sometime maybe from the sound, sometime from a smell for some people. Sometimes I think grudge can come from, you are talking normal grudges, right? It can come from anywhere, but mostly it could be from mano sampassa, something that you already experienced, or something you are experiencing all the time now at the moment. The first five are real time, last one is not real time. So it can be from any contact. So I could say basically if it is in the real time, it is coming from the first four. Grudge. If it is already happened, then it will go as a memory to the mind. So it depends. So the interesting thing is find out from where it is arising in that particular real moment. Then you will know that this grudge comes from what contact in particular. All right, so I want to recap today. Today we discussed about Vedana. I think we discussed Vedana very extensively, that not to the level that you have learned before. So we learned about Vedana from Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta's 6 framework. And then we discussed Vedana from Bahuvedaniya Sutta, Kitagiri Sutta, Bodhiraja Sutta, Chula, so many suttas. Actually, the reason why I wanted to put them together is that then you have a one-stop place to understand Vedana, not in here, Vedana different, they are a little different. So I have put together all these important facets. So then we are going to look at this, the next, I think the next one is going to be Sanya, perceptions, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to look at that next Friday. So there's one more question. I will give you a very short answer. How to overcome jealousy? According to the Vedana, if you think that you are jealous about someone, then go back and check the content. Then you will see how does my jealousy, arise? How does it make up? And what are the conditions for my jealousy? Because normally, if it is a feeling, if your jealousy is so much a feeling at that point, then definitely it is caused by that contact, right? All right, so then we are going to now transfer all the good karmas to departed ones and Devanaga Mahitika. So may all the good karmas be making today be transferred to all departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May departed ones receive all these good karmas, may they be well and happy, and may they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idang mi nyati nang hotu, sukita hontu nyatayu. Idang mi nyati nang hotu, sukita hontu nyatayu. Idang mi nyati nang hotu, sukita hontu nyatayu. May Deva Naga Mahidika receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us with good health, quality of life, prosperity, happiness. May they also finally attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavata cha abhihi sambatang punya sampadang sabideva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampradang Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampradang Sabbe satta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya Akasattha cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanang Akasattha cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanang Akasattha cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mang parang chirang rakkhantu tvam sadati. Next is the Dhammavish. Dhammavish is always to be surrounded with Kalyana Mittas. Kalyana Mittas are those who have more Saddha, Sila, Jaga, Panya. So let us aspire, maybe always be surrounded with them. At the same time, maybe become Kalyana Mittas to as many sentient beings as you meet in this sansaric life till we attain. Imina punya kamena mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hu yavani bala patya. Finally, may all the good karmas we be making today by learning Vedanā, feelings from Nibbedhika Pariyāya Sutta and so many other suttas to understand the contextual aspect of feelings, Vedanā. We support you and helpful for all of us to attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana siddhis niccang vaddha pachāyino chattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurārogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbāna sampatti iminati samicchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, with those blessings, wishing you a good night. Till we see you again on Friday. Thank you, Aliana, for uploading and all that. Thank you, everyone. Good night. Enjoy the rest of your new year.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bante.
Bante.
Thank you very much, Bante.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Sadhu,
So,
sadhu.
sadhu, 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 Sister Aline.
Thank you, Sister Medina. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Happy New
Take
Year. Good
care.
night.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Thank
Year,
you, Pante.
everyone.
Sadhu.
Thank you,
Sadhu,
Bante.
Happy
Thank
New
you,
Year to all.
Aliana.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Yes.
sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.